Welcome back, guys. So this is what we've gotten done so far in the previous tutorial, and I'm just going to fill in the rest of these just to show you what it looks like when it's all done. Now, I know in the last tutorial I said that I was going to show you what it looks like, and I will. We're getting there, but you still have to be patient, because we're not quite there yet. So here's basically what I'm gonna do. I'm going to fill in the rest of the others, the other rows with the code needed. So here it is, and you guys can find all of this code in my Google Plus drive. I'm sharing it, so it's public to pretty much anyone who can find the link. And unfortunately, I don't know how to find the link. I just know that I shared it, and you need a Google Plus account, I think. So other than that, I really don't know how to help you guys out finding it. Make sure that you get a lot of space in between, so you don't get one part of the code mixed up with another. That's what I'm learning to do, because I sometimes get confused with my own code, and that's not really good. So I try to create as much space as possible. So now that we've gotten this taken care of, let's see what it looks like right now. Bam. Campaign, multiplayer, zombie, and more basically tells you everything else, because Black Ops 2 has so many features, so many modes, that I can't just fit them in the screen. So more is just like this huge page that will just navigate you to where you want to go, and that will be what we're going to be doing later on. And like I said, if you click it, nothing pops up because we haven't created that page yet. So it will just take you to the link saying that there isn't a site found. So let me just explain the code real quick. We're using basically the same code. Essentially, we're just using different. We're using different derivatives. I don't know if that makes sense, really. I think it does. Different derivatives. We're using different derivatives. Interesting way for me to say that. Okay, so let me try to explain this a different way. We're using essentially the same code, and we're duplicating it, except we're changing some aspects of it, mostly in CSS. But as you can see here, we changed the picture and we changed the word. So basically, we're using it's the same code, and these last three boxes are, I mean, this one is a different size. It's much smaller than this box. The multiplayer and zombie mode are much smaller than the campaign box, and the more box is much smaller than all three: campaign, multiplayer, and zombie mode box. So we're basically using the same code. It's just we're changing the properties and the physical characteristics of a few things. That's the best way to explain it. See, basically the same thing. I take out the last 5 lines of the entire thing, because you guys might not see this, but there is a wrap holding all 4 of these things together. Let me see if I can try to show you. When I was when I was coding it, I like to use borders so I can see where everything is and which property is holding which. It's so much helpful. So this is the whole wrap itself. Panel 1, I call this panel 1. And basically the wrap, I take the last, I start from here and I just basically rip it. I rip it and I dissect it and then I copy it, and then what I basically do is change this. It used to be a 1 and I change it to 2, and I do that for all of them. It used to be a 2, I change it to 3, because you can't have the same code with the same name. It doesn't work like that. You have to change up the name. And you guys can see the zombie mode right there. Let me try to do this differently because it's oh yeah. So we got, I'm just trying to find a way to make it all readable once I upload the video. It's 4:35 a.m. November 14th, 2012. Pretty much the same aspects. Let's go check out the CSS. There's way too much space in between. This is way too much space in between. Oh yeah, first, the CSS, you can basically see that I did pretty much the same thing that I did with the HTML. I copied it, the last 5 lines of code, and I basically changed the number. I mean, this is a div, and you have to, when you're working with divs, you basically have to take the class name. And like in the last tutorial, you can either put the telephone sign, this, or you can leave it like div dot blah blah blah, the name of your class or ID. Most of these are the same lines of code. You'll see here, for instance, top changes. The top for container number 1 is 60, -60. The top for container number 2 is -360. The top for container number 3 is -160. The top for container number 4 is -560. So it definitely changes. They're not all the same. Height wise, you can obviously see that 8.5 for number 4, and number 3 is 25%, and number 2 is 25%, and number 1 is surprisingly oh yeah, I don't think number 1 is 25%, but I don't know. So let's just move on, because I am wasting way too much time talking about this. So that's pretty much how this whole thing looks like once you're done. And like I said, you can name it anything you want. You don't have to stick to what I made my divs as. Some of you might be confused. Name it whatever you want. Use whatever picture you want. Whatever words you want. But this is just what I did for my site. And I'm not going to be uploading it to the web, so yeah. Well, like, add, subscribe, comment on what you think below. This is Henry1502 Inc. I am out.